Hello everyone, my name is Akhil Khatara. This is a presentation regarding one of my PBL supplementary. So with respect to me, that I got four case studies which I'm demonstrating at the moment. So I'll be explaining about each and every case study which I've got it. This is a case study which is talking about the modernizing retail e-commerce platform. So what happens is with the cloud compute at the in nowadays everybody is very versatile with the cloud computing, so people are migrating their legacy servers to the cloud. It's because the major reason is because people doesn't face any kind of an issues with the server to scale up and scale down, because there is an auto scaling feature which can be used in the cloud computing, and there are a lot of benefits we're gonna see further in the PPL further in the PPT. So for the aim is this basically works for addressing an implementation of the cloud services for one of the online retail services sales in ANZEE company. So the aim to work to highlight the process and mitigate cloud technologies with existing online sales method, which I've told before the meeting starts. So what are the major benefits of using a cloud in e-commerce sites? So when I was talking about the primarily, this is the major key points. The first one is it reduces the cost. When it says that, because every service is very accomplished with the cost, so probably this is something which is very important for a consumer or the e-commerce website to not to take too much of burden in order to get paid to the cloud other services with the legacy system. There we can reduce the cost. Disaster recovery, so there is a method of disaster recovery where we can do even there is any kind of losses. Collaboration efficiency as discussed earlier, and it is more flexible and it has the scalability, and it is obviously an environmental friendly. So the other slide is talking about the cloud migration for online e-commerce. What are the major benefits, major consequences that we look at when a service is migrating from a legacy system to the cloud? So moving one application from other application, which is nothing but the migration. So this cloud migration has the four phases. Phase one consists of preparation. So we need to prepare an application, how it is actually being performed. And the phase two is all about the planning, how we are doing the migration. And phase 3 is an implementation of the migration, and phase 4 is an optimization, how it is actually working on a cloud services. What are the security issues that we get in the cloud? So there are three types of cloud: private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud. Public cloud is basically a cloud which is open to the world, where everybody can access. For example, www.amazon.com is a public website where they can hire it. When it comes how a person is invoking, at the back end of the method, which is nothing but a private cloud within the intra network, within a particular of things which is called as a private network. Hybrid is a combination of both public and private, and the security enhancing for the private can be used, and the best network method will be used in protecting the data in the cloud. So cloud migration techniques, what are the main techniques that we use as a cloud in terms of the business aspect? First, the data encryption should be in a very secure way, because we are transferring the data from one other to other. So we are making sure that no security hacks has been happening. Strong password management, obviously one of the strongest password management which a person will be utilizing. Set permissions. So it's a set permission is basically talking about a migration is happening from one location to the other location, checking upon whether the permissions from the high level management, knowing if it is required or not. Well, what are the three types of cloud migration techniques that we have? So which is like prevention, detection, and remediation. Prevention, which prevents and detects, and it remediates whatever the issue that we get. What are the cloud security challenges that we are facing in the current scenario? Data loss, one of the major things which can happen. User accounts hijacking, challenging server partners, lacking of security in the network, denial in the several attacks. So what are the benefits of using an e-commerce? This is a major key thing to understand why a cloud system is very much important. So in our case, we are taking an example of an AWS as a cloud, Although we have Azure and the GCP though, so we are taking AWS as an example for this. Rent rather than a purchase. We don't rent, we just rent it. Instead of purchasing a complete server, we are just renting and paying at the monthly wages. IT services are getting at the minimal cost, which is like networks, IPv4, IPv6, VPCs, security groups, economic dependable. So a person cannot get a more kind of a dependable, improved efficiency using cloud. This is one of the things that we're just talking about how much efficient when you're using a cloud. So the wide range of cloud applications, you can use multiple of cloud ranges at a single go. So what is the conclusion that I'm giving at the end of this? Uh, at the end of this, it's efficiency in the business process. When a business is running at a minimal cost, we as an engineer will not suggest somebody, you know, to spend a lot of his cost on his infrastructure, because it depends on the business how much the person is getting on. Data recovery, there should be a method, because a e-commerce website is all talking about a customer having his informatical data, and a customer is having his phone number, for example mobile number, his details of his bank accounts. So everything has to be secured enough, and it has to be a data recovery process. It should be a cloud-based application, which is like SaaS, PaaS, as easier access for improved services. So it should be a very minimal of that, and it should improve the services. Privacy for the sensitive data. It is very important that we maintain the privacy for every single data that we have. At least we are making sure it is not ethically looking out some for the other person, which should be an encryption method. And the cost efficiency, one of the major thing, the cost efficiency is required for an e-commerce website. So basically, one of the major things that I would say in the conclusion part is like, it is very important a person to know about the data recovery, how a lost data can be recovered within no given time. So there should be a method of that. Cost could be a major concern for a client, where it is so ethical that we keep the good quality of cost, and it is not burden to the efficient consumer or the customer. Privacy for sensitive data, as I've told, the sensitive data includes the bank details, one of the major security, and the sensitive data. And we have, what do you say, we have the customer information is security, like passports, or his mobile number, his age, everything. And it should be a uh, you know easy access with the improved services. So for example, in future, so my e-commerce website is getting upgraded to one of the upgraded generations. So this upgraded generation, everything has to be in a position where we can send it across with all the variable links. So this is how we can make an easy access improved, so that it should not be a tough situation. Assuming one of the example that I can provide you here is, for an example, an e-commerce website is running on an Amazon Linux one. So the customers is expecting to move his application to Linux 2. His Linux 2 has more features than a Linux one. Probably this is one of the scenario where we can look at and understand how a Amazon Linux 1 can be upgraded to Linux 2. It's basically upgrading from one server to the other server, which is ethically been done, and it is an improved service. So for example, any kind of an application which has getting dependent on, what is a cloud-based application? A cloud-based application is nothing but an application has to be containerized when it is deploying on any kind of an containers. The code has to be using a Docker containers, which the Docker will help in creating the images. So these are the major conclusions that are there in my semester, and thank you.